Chapter 14. A vos places. Asterisk suddenly cried a voice. Asterisk, to your places. A pleasant feeling of excitement and an expectation of something joyful and solemn was aroused among the soldiers of the convoy and the prisoners. From all sides came shouts of command, and from the left came smartly dressed cavalrymen on good horses, passing the prisoners at a trot. The expression on all faces showed the tension people feel at the approach of those in authority. The prisoners thronged together and were pushed off the road. The convoy formed up. The Emperor. The Emperor. The Marshal. The Duke, and hardly had the sleek cavalry passed, before a carriage drawn by 6 grey horses rattled by. Pierre caught a glimpse of a man in a three-cornered hat with a tranquil look on his handsome, plump, white face. It was one of the marshals. His eye fell on Pierre's large and striking figure, and in the expression with which he frowned and looked away Pierre thought he detected sympathy and a desire to conceal that sympathy.
The general in charge of the stores galloped after the carriage with a red and frightened face, whipping up his skinny horse. Several officers formed a group and some soldiers crowded round them. Their faces all looked excited and worried. What did he say? What did he say? Pierre heard them ask. While the marshal was passing, the prisoners had huddled together in a crowd, and Pierre saw Karateev whom he had not yet seen that morning. He sat in his short overcoat leaning against a birch tree. On his face, besides the look of joyful emotion it had worn yesterday while telling the tale of the merchant who suffered innocently, there was now an expression of quiet solemnity.
Karateev looked at Pierre with his kindly round eyes now filled with tears, evidently wishing him to come near that he might say something to him. But Pierre was not sufficiently sure of himself. He made as if he did not notice that look and moved hastily away. When the prisoners again went forward Pierre looked round. Karateev was still sitting at the side of the road under the birch tree and 2 Frenchmen were talking over his head. Pierre did not look round again but went limping up the hill. From behind, where Karateev had been sitting, came the sound of a shot. Pierre heard it plainly, but at that moment he remembered that he had not yet finished reckoning up how many stages still remained to Smolensk, a calculation he had begun before the marshal went by. And he again started reckoning. 2 French soldiers ran past Pierre, one of whom carried a lowered and smoking gun. They both looked pale, and in the expression on their faces, one of them glanced timidly at Pierre. There was something resembling what he had seen on the face of the young soldier at the execution. Pierre looked at the soldier and remembered that, 2 days before, that man had burned his shirt while drying it at the fire and how they had laughed at him. Behind him, where Karateev had been sitting, the dog began to howl. What a stupid beast! Why is it howling? Thought Pierre. His comrades, the prisoner soldiers walking beside him, avoided looking back at the place where the shot had been fired and the dog was howling, just as Pierre did, but there was a set look on all their faces.